This video is called Your Resume Project, Everything That You Need to Know. So basically, when you think about your resume project, as you know, it consists of several different parts. It consists of part one, the job search posting and reflective statement, which you should have done already in your for your attendance question last Monday. You also have your salary search for that job posting, which is part two. Part three is your resume. The first submission will be this Wednesday, and the second submission will be right before Thanksgiving. And then your LinkedIn profile, which is first submission is this Wednesday, and then the second submission before Thanksgiving. Now, there are a few things that you could do for extra credit. There's a cover letter that you have to follow criteria for, a thank you letter where you would follow criteria, a reference page, which you can add up to 5 points extra credit, and a thank you card. So I have detailed instructions for each one of these different assignments that you're going to need to do. The most important part that I want to emphasize to you, as you can see here, you need a 2-pocket folder for this project. What's going to end up happening is you're going to have this 2-pocket folder. You're going to put all the information on one side of the pocket, and then you'll hand it in to me all in one piece. And then when you go back and revise it, you'll have the original copies on one side of the 2-pocket folder, and then the newly revised copies on the other side of the pocket folder. Having a pocket folder, a 2-pocket folder, not with clasps or with any not a binder, but 2-pocket folder. It allows me to take them along with me and not lose any of your papers and have everything in this folder related to your resume. So again, you need to have that 2-pocket folder. So your job posting and reflective statement needs to be in your 2-pocket folder, your salary search, which just includes that screenshot that you printed out. And now when we get to your resume, now there are some important things that you need to make sure that you take care of. And the first thing is setting your margins. So when you set your margins, you're going to set them for 0.3 at the top, 1 inch at the right and the left side, and 0.3 at the bottom. This is going to make it so that it's your own personal letterhead. So let's take a look at this one, resume. Actually, let me go to a different one. Okay, so this resume right here, you'll notice that at the top, this is 0.3 away from the top, and it has the information. The first thing that you see is the person's name. It's in bold. It's actually an Arial bold, so it stands out. Notice that nothing is abbreviated, and then you have your email address. The education, it can be set up like this. As you know, there are other templates you can use if you wanted to have a heading or a border, and then have the information underneath. But notice that your university is bolded and underlined so that it stands out, and then the other information is included. The employment history, again, notice the action verbs to describe the different jobs or skills that this person demonstrated on their job. Make sure that you are specific in what your statements say so that you can make sure that whoever's looking at your resume understands what you've done in your jobs or previous experience that will add to their own business. So this is a good time to look at those keywords associated with that job posting. Another thing that you need to make sure you're aware of are the awards and honors. If you have any awards or honors or any activities, make sure that you include the month and year, or just the year, so that they know how relevant or how recent it is. Because if you just put down honors college or neighborhood expert at Applebee's, it could have happened 10 years ago. So you want to make sure that you indicate that. So here's another example that I pointed out in class regarding this student with a functional resume where they have their skills, and then they indicate their honors and activities and their education and their employment last. Notice that these important things are what stand out. This job title is in all capital letters, so it stands out because that's the most important part of your employment. It's not so much where you worked, but it's what you did. So make sure that you make that bold and in all capital letters. Once again, you'll notice that there are dates and that there are statements that are consistent in parallelism and are put together so that it is a good description or depiction of what this person is capable of. This resume is set up a little differently. There is really a 3 top margin at the top, but because of this box, it kind of went down a little. But again, you're having a 3 inch or a 0.3, a third of an inch at the top, where you'll put the name. This person has their name in all capital letters with their contact information on the side, including their LinkedIn profile address. This person had the university bolded, the actual degree underlined, along with some of the important things that they did that they wanted to point out in their education. Instead of an objective, they put a profile. It's fine if you put an objective or a profile. You don't have to do either. It depends on what you want to do. But notice also that when you're looking at these profiles or objectives, that they're written in the third person and they do not have the letter I. Instead, it says, like, for example, here, a quick learner or self-motivated or through various cultural experiences and so on. Here, they have their positions underlined, but it stands out along with their companies in bold. They included their volunteer experience. This resume is a chronological resume. It's a little more fancy that I showed you in class. They have an objective, but again, if they needed to have space, they could have taken this objective out. The most important part of this objective is that it indicates that they're going to be a valuable contribution to the company. So it's not so much what the company can do for them, but what they can do for the company. Here they have experiences of being a server or a babysitter or even a Santa's helper. And notice that with these positions that they have action verbs indicating what they've done in making these jobs sound more significant than maybe they might be considered. And that's because they're picking apart what they did at that job. Instead of just saying watch children, it would be take complete responsibility of children in the absence of parents. Or instead of being a Santa's helper and just saying, you know, help kids get on Santa's lap, deliver friendly and professional customer service, received and processed payments, we're able to work in different locations. So these are things that really could stand out to an employer. This person has a skills and abilities section, which just has some of the things that they're good at or proficient at. They have some activities that they're involved in. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, I don't really have any activities, this would be a good time in your academic career to get involved. Get involved with different associations or clubs or doing different things so that you can have things that go on your resume. If you have activities on your resume, it says something about you in terms of getting involved, showing initiative, and if you're in a leadership role, having good leadership. Then at the end, there's a references available upon request. This is the fourth part of your project, which is a LinkedIn profile. So I'm going to show you this in a video that follows in the next section. But basically, this LinkedIn video, it includes all the information. You need to have a summary. Notice that in the end, it's like a sales pitch that says, connect with me to discuss how I can make meaningful contributions to your organization. Talks about what they did as a student employee by giving bullet points. This was cut and pasted from his resume with the bullet points. And in this case, he actually went out of his way to get some letters of recommendation from people at that company that would take time out to write a recommendation. And that's something I'm going to talk to you about in class. But if you are able to do this by the end of the semester, I will end up giving you some extra credit for finding people that might vouch as a recommendation for you. In this resume, or in this LinkedIn, it has all of his education and experience. He included some pictures that he did in terms of this project that he was involved in. Talks about his volunteer experiences, some of the organizations he's involved with. These are the skills that you need to include on your own. Advice on reaching him. These are the recommendations. And then he has the different connections. And here, these are the people that these are the groups that he's involved in. So you can see his groups relate to some of his interests. His influencers are indicated under who he's following. His news are indicated there with different areas that interest him. And his companies are indicated there. And finally, his schools. So that's the example of LinkedIn. Now I want to show you an example of someone that did the extra credit. And if you see, this person did the resume, and you can see this heading. And then they did the extra credit for cover letter, but notice the heading stays the same. And then this letter, which let me scroll back for you on this. Notice that this letter is actually kind of centered, so it's in the middle of the page, so that there are empty spaces here and empty spaces here. I have included this information on how to format a letter in today's online class as well. But if you look at letters, you can see that this body of the letter needs to be in the center of the page, vertically aligned. So you need to think about vertical alignment when you're thinking about doing letters. The other letter that is extra credit is a thank you letter. Now this thank you letter, again, has the same heading as the other letter. So I'm going to click to the cover letter and the thank you letter. And looking at the resume, let me scroll down. You can see that resume also has the same heading as the thank you letter, that has the same letter as the cover letter. Now the references, once again, has the same type of letterhead. So if you're going to do these extra credit, you want to make sure that your headings are all consistent. So between all of the documents, it's consistent. Obviously, it can't be consistent on the LinkedIn, but with these different aspects it will. So that's why it says here you'll use consistent letterhead throughout the entire project. So this gives you all the information for the resumes. And again, I posted those resumes as examples. This LinkedIn profile, it has all the different parts that you need on this. I have more information in the next section on our online class to go through it with you. And then for the extra credit opportunities, this is the information for the cover letter, which is a solicited cover letter that you read about in chapter 16. The thank you letter, have information here. And then the reference page or the reference sheet that has information about that as well and some examples. And then the thank you card. And I have examples of these different things in the course projects. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what to expect from your resume project. Again, I can't emphasize it enough. Make sure you put this in a 2-pocket folder and that you do it as if you are going to be giving it to a company tomorrow. It needs to be in perfect shape for your first submission. If you have any questions, you can email me. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a nice day.